In today's video, we compare the Rock and Roll Relics Heartbreaker with the OG Gibson Les Paul. It's the battle of the LP, so let's get rocking. Hello guys, welcome back to Squealing Pig Guitars, the home of luxury string machines here in Nottingham, England. My name is Ben Keightley and today we're going to be comparing two Les Paul style guitars. Obviously the first one is the Gibson Les Paul, the original Les Paul shape. This design dates back all the way to 1952 and is pretty much the most iconic guitar ever made. And the challenger for today's episode is the R&R Relics Heartbreaker, which is modelled after a 59 Les Paul. It has a few cosmetic differences, but the bare bones of it is a mahogany body with a mahogany neck and basically is a Les Paul. So let's have a look at the guitars that we're going to be comparing in today's episode. So the original guitar is a Gibson Les Paul 58 reissue from the custom shop. And this is in a beautiful custom colour. This is the satin olive drab colour, which is obviously this lovely green colour. But this is basically what a Les Paul was designed to be like. You've got a mahogany body, maple top, mahogany neck with a rosewood fingerboard. This one has the 58 baseball bat, so it's got a thick neck. Got the traditional vintage tuning keys. These are the Gibson Deluxe tuners, and then we have the kind of blacked out headstock Gibson logo and Les Paul silkscreen. These have the PAF style humbuckers, so they're very low turn, unpotted custom bucker Alnico free reissues of the original PAF. These pickups are some of my favourite pickups. They're very honest sounding and don't drive the amp too much. We then have an ABR1 bridge, which is the Tune-O-Matic bridge drilled directly into the maple top and a stock tailpiece. So how does this differ from the R&R Heartbreaker? So this is the challenger. This is the Rock and Roll Relics Heartbreaker, and obviously we can tell where it's got some inspiration. It's basically a Les Paul just slightly misshapen, obviously because they can't infringe on Gibson's trademark. This has a really cool custom colour again. This is the aged Sherwood green over three-tone sunburst. I'm a big fan of this Sherwood green. To my eye anyway, it looks a little bit more blue, a bit like a Pelham blue. It's obviously aged as well, so we've got some belt buckle rush here and around the side. It's really cool. No lacquer checking though, and it comes off here, and obviously a cool stinger on the back, which I'm always going to invite very greatly. I'm not a big fan of the three-tone burst underneath, if I'm being completely honest. I think maybe just the black here would look better. But it is a cool finish, and I always respect a guitar that's a little bit quirky. So what are the difference between this and the Les Paul? Well, construction-wise, it's fairly similar. We've got mahogany back, maple top, mahogany neck, this time with the 59 profile, which is a little bit slimmer, a little bit more rounded. I'd say that this is a little bit too slim for a 59, but I obviously understand that they're trying to go for more of a modern approach on the Les Paul, so that's probably why it's gone a little bit thinner, but it is a little bit thinner than a usual 59 Les Paul. The interesting spec that we have here is we have a Mikasa ebony fingerboard, which obviously creates a lot more of a darker appearance for this guitar. Working our way to the headstock, we've obviously got some Gibson DNA in there, obviously a different headstock design, but we've got that black headstock cap and the gold silkscreen. We have the Kluson tuners, very similar to the Gibson ones, but these are obviously Gibson branded, they're Kluson branded, and you can see there the Heartbreaker logo there on the neck. In terms of pickups, we've got a set of Mojo tone pickups, and by the looks of them, they're trying to go for that PAF tone. The screw coils on these have all rusted out, more so on the bridge, which I like, because obviously that's where your hands can be sitting, so that's where you're going to sweat more. I also like the attention to detail where they've relicked around the volume controls, where they would have obviously dug in over time. We have a very similar system in terms of our bridge and tailpiece. It's a little bit like an Epiphone bridge. You'd have to use a flathead screwdriver to kind of tighten or release, but this is actually locking, so you can see the little grub screws there. Take your Allen key on. That means that once you set your bridge action and your stop tailpiece, it's not going to move, so even with string changes, which is quite a cool feature that Gibson were doing on their kind of more standard lines during the 2000s era. Other than that, it's pretty much Les Paul specs. So you have 24 and 0.75 inch scale length, we've got 22 frets. The only thing I can notice is that there's a lot more space here than there would be on a Les Paul. You've got 2 volumes, 2 tones, 3-way switch. It's pretty much a Les Paul. I really love this Stinger though. I wish Gibson would do this more often. But now it begs the question, how different these two guitars sound? You've heard them kind of go against each other in the intro where we had a little battle of Back in Black. But now let's hear them isolated outside of the mix and see how different they sound. Okay guys, so welcome to the tone demo. In this video today we're going to be cutting between the Les Paul and the Heartbreaker to compare the tonal differences between these two guitars. We're going to start off with kind of a rock and roll tone, obviously, because that's what the Les Paul was made for. So this is the tone I actually used in the intro of today's video for the AC/DC. So I'll cut back and forth between this and the Heartbreaker. So guys, that brings us to the end of another video, but before we finish today, let me tell you about my final thoughts of these two guitars. These are both incredible Les Pauls. Obviously, I love the traditional spec of a Gibson. I preferred the thicker neck profile on this one as well, but this was a 58, and I love the olive drab finish. In terms of where a Les Paul should sound, this is the gold standard of 58 Les Paul. The pickups are nice and clean sounding, but you can dirty them up with a higher gain amp. This was very, very similar sounding. All I'd say is that the ebony and potentially the Mojo Tone pickups are a lot brighter. So this almost sounded a little like an SG in areas. It was very, very bright sounding, especially for the rock stuff, which obviously for some people will be good and some people it will be bad. I think for a lead guitar, I personally would go for this. It's a little bit more creamy, a little bit more bass end on the high end of the lines. But this is a great guitar for cutting through the mix with them riffs. It's important to note that these guitars aren't cheap at all. These Rock and Roll Relics go for about $3.5 grand. That is UK money. Obviously a custom colour Gibson custom Les Paul is probably going to go just over $5 grand. So obviously you are saving a little bit of money with the Rock and Roll Relics, but you're getting the real thing with Gibson. It's really the question of why you're buying the guitar. Is it for playability or is it for looks? Obviously I prefer the playability of this guitar, but also a big reason I like it is because it has Gibson on the headstock. It looks like a Les Paul and it has that really nice body contour. I'm not a big fan of how this body kind of, it just looks like they've adapted the Les Paul shape. It doesn't look like it's anything original. But it plays amazingly and sounds incredible. But most importantly, guys, let me know in the comment section below, what do you think of these two amazing Les Pauls? Which one did you prefer? Are you Gibson or are you Rock and Roll Relics? Let me know in the comment section below. And whilst you're down there, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more content and leave a like rating if you've enjoyed. But I'll see you tomorrow for another episode, but until then, keep rocking, guys. I'll see you soon.